So the pseudo element is used to style certain parts of an element. So that means we have this p tag here, p. I love CSS. So you want to style a certain part of this particular element here. So how do we can use pseudo element to style that? So let's go into our style sheet. We can do p. So if you want to use pseudo element, you use 2 colon 1 2. Then what part of that element do we want to style? Let's say we want to style the first letter. So the first letter I want to give it color of red. Can you see? So now the I changes to color red, and the rest retain their default color. So this is a pseudo element. That means we are trying to style certain part of an element. And we can also use the pseudo element to generate content to our HTML document, and those content they will not be added to the DOM. So to do that, we can use things like let's say p. We can decide to use p, our selector, our pseudo element selector before. So I'm saying that before the p, add this. So first thing you do is add the content, because if you don't add the content, nothing will be displayed. So the content I want to add is, let's say I want to add hello. Can you see? Hello. So let's save that. Let's see what happens. Can you see? So before my p. So let's remove this first element since it's still applying to our so let's remove this. So just before my p tag content, which is hello, I love CSS, I use the pseudo element selector to add the content to it. So I can also do p pseudo element selector after. So I'm saying that after my p element, I want you to add the content to it. Content, let's say let's add a space. Thank you. So let me also add a space here. So let's save this. Can you see? So you can see that it's hello, I love CSS. Thank you. So this pseudo element selector I used to select an element and modify them, add certain things to it. Do you understand? So the content that we just added, hello and thank you, they are added to the element, but they are not added to the DOM. So another way to check the content of the DOM is by inspecting with your browser. Can you see? Inspecting with your browser. Let me increase the size of this. So these are p elements here. You can see it's been highlighted. And you see that in the DOM it's saying before and after, but the content itself still remain I love CSS. But look at our pseudo element selector is added, which is hello. You can see the hello is highlighted, and after is also highlighted. Thank you. So it is not added to the DOM structure, because the DOM structure, based on our explanation, is the tags that we have here, which represents the parent-sibling relationship. These are the DOM. This is the DOM structure. But you can see that our hello and thank you is not showing in the DOM. It's only the pseudo element selector that is just showing that, okay, there is a pseudo element selection just before the element, the content of this p tag, and there is another one just after the content of the p tag. So let's close our inspector. So let's look at one more. So the reason why all this thing is showing is because we added the content. So let me add another style to this. Let me add like a color. So I want the color to be what? Let's say red. Let's say let's use red. Red. Let's see that. Can you see? So if I decide to remove this content, let me comment out the content. You can see it won't show, because it is the content itself that is allowing what we wrote there to show. So you can also use this pseudo element selector to generate shapes. can use to generate shapes. So we can decide to say, okay, let's have a box, a width, I'll say 50 pixel, height 50 pixel. Do you understand? Background color. Let's say yellow. So let me remove the content now. Okay, first let me remove. So your content can also be an empty string. Do you understand? So let me save that. Can you see? So let's remove this. You can see that a blue box, a yellow box is generated just after our content. So if I decide to comment out this content, the box won't show anymore. Why? Because the content is what allows it to show. So even if you don't add anything, a text or anything to your content, you can always make it an empty string, but you must always specify the content within the after and before Sudo Element selector. So that's when we save this back now. I see that our box will show there. So that's why the content is always necessary when you are using this before and after Sudo Element selector. So let's look at one more example. So we have a universal selector. So the universal selector is used to select everything in the DOM element. Everything, both the child, the siblings, everything. I use to select it. So the universal selector is represented by asterisk. So let me first save this. So everything has been wiped off. So let me use star. I want to use a star or asterisk. So let's give it a color brown. Let's say brown. You can see it selects everything in our DOM element and applies the color brown to it. Do you understand? So everything in DOM element is selected. So if I decide to say, okay, all my elements, I want to make them, let's say I want to italize them, let's say font style, let's say italics. You can see it italicized everything, all the styles in our element. So this is a universal selector star. It's used to select everything in the DOM element.